Because it was just when Skunk was coming out. You don't smoke. Do you smoke weed?
Why are you looking at Nico when you say that?
Because he's black. And you're a pussy. I don't know either. I don't know. He's stopped.
Welcome to another episode of the 3SP podcast. As ever, I'm the mad lad, Jihad. I'm joined by the Beijing sensation.
Bird Gang is back.
Mr. Hate Speech himself.
Zippity zip.
The man with the most, the Gorilla Vanilla.
Yo.
And today, finally, after hyping up his comeback to comedy, to everything, it's none other than our second most favorite conspiracy theorist, possibly.
After Don Biz was.
After Don Biz was, after Alistair Williams. It's none other than Tony Marrese, probably our first one. Welcome, Tony.
Welcome. Hello, and thank you for having me.
You're very much welcome to be here. For those of you, obviously, who don't know Tony, and why would you? Tony is a fabulous comedian who once took a shit in a van on the way back from a gig.
Oh man, my mate Kev. So he's a joiner. He cut a hole. He got like bolt cutting tools or whatever, and cut a hole.
This is where Leo shines. Shit stories. Check out the podcast.
He cut a hole in the floor of his van, so he could just climb into the back, shit through the hole. Not when he's going down the motorway, but like when he's parked up, just shit through the hole and then drive off.
Imagine just finding a human shit on the road. Like, where the fuck is this come from?
Imagine cutting a hole in a van so you could shit in the road.
Maybe he shits often.
Well, and it's a problem. Like, do you have problems finding places to shit?
I have had to shit in a variety of places in my life. It's absolutely true. I have. My friend found a shit in a toolbox once. He was driving down an A road and he saw a toolbox. He thought, oh, great. Someone had just had a shit in it. And he opened it up and was like, oh, no, that's shit, literally.
Just like the male version of a woman vomiting in a handbag.
Yeah, basically.
All right, so listen, Tony, I don't know if you've listened to this podcast. Oh, well, thank you so much. So here we have a light-hearted poke at the woke, and we just discuss what's been going on in the news. Basically, we usually have a nonce of the week, see who Leo's is feuding with. Nico might fall asleep. Mooch tries to be the voice of reason, and that's where we're at. And it's been an exciting week this week.
Darius tries to pronounce words.
Yeah, I tried to pronounce.
You got
words.
a degree though, haven't you?
Yeah.
He got the degree in the same way that he got his vaccine passport.
We're not saying the word. We're not saying that word.
Don't say that.
You already said it, man.
Definitely cut that back out.
Don't cut
Only
it out.
because we want to try and not get demonetized for once.
Yeah. I'm happy. I'll take the hit on this one. I'll give you all £4 right now.
Well, that's like
That's
twice as
quadruple.
much as, that's too much.
I have to say that I was really enjoying the earwax.
I told you that was good.
No, you was right. All the way through your narration, you was right. Everything he was saying about leave it, they're going to love this. And I was just watching this going, he's right.
It's what YouTube is for. It's like that. If anyone has back acne, we can, because that's the next thing.
Have you watched any of those videos of massive zits being squeezed?
Of course.
And it comes out like Philadelphia cheese.
Yes, yeah.
I know, but it is, man. It's like Philadelphia cheese.
Yeah.
It comes out like, woo.
Yeah, it's like the cyst popping and boils and stuff like that.
And some of them have got so much in.
This is the thing. We should have got Simon from, what's his name, before he had his neck one removed.
Simon Kane.
That could have been a great episode.
We won't
finish it off for his ear. I was actually going to bring a much better gag. I was going to bring one of these on the end of a drill. I was going to bring one of these on the end of a drill, but I didn't have time to set it all up.
But the toolbox you had shit in it.
What
that was fascinating. Did you finish off? Did you clear the last bit out?
Yeah, so basically...
I didn't watch it, so you clean out his ear?
Man,
or
at least listen to our own podcast. How are you going to get others to listen to it if you don't even listen to it?
Oh my God. I was busy, man.
Yeah, but we even sent
He
you a
was busy
fucking
watching
clip
someone
of
else's.
Busy doing what? Sleeping?
No, I was touring, mate. I was on tour.
Going to do the gig in Manchester is not touring.
That is touring.
Tell us about your ear. The culmination.
So this thing, it was actually really good. I mean, my ear was totally blocked over, and then I didn't get it on air. I didn't get it through. But then when I went home, so I put more of the juice in to soften it, and then I dug it, and I could feel it like pulling against the eardrum, and it was almost like sore, and then but I managed to like pull it away, and then it. But now there's like, I've got it so I can hear, but there's still shit in there, and I can't, because the angle, because it sort of dips down, I can't get the
Leo,
spoon in to get it.
That's where you need the Hoover.
Please, just go to a professional.
No, she doesn't need that. He just needs the Henry Hoover. Just suck that
I was thinking of getting, because you get the syringes on Amazon. I know we've got a National Health Service and it's free, but why not just fuck about with stuff I can buy from China? Like, so get a syringe off Amazon that's specially for ears.
And what does it do? It sucks it out.
No, the syringe it, like squirts heroin into your,
put more in. That's
heroin into your brain.
Yeah.
And
Can you hear better now?
Yeah.
You can.
It's completely blocked.
You've
It's
done
horrible.
a great job, man. You pulled everything, it worked.
And you know what was the worst
So
thing? Doing gigs when it's blocked.
There's juice you can pour in your ear.
Yeah.
What juice?
You can use olive oil, or I got
Guava.
special earwax softening drops.
Okay, cool.
Man, you need to see how disgusting his ear was.
I can't watch stuff like that, man.
No, you
I
can,
don't
man,
watch
you
stuff
can.
like that.
You're telling me that you can't fart.
Yeah. Unless I go
What?
to the loo.
You got to go to the toilet to fart.
And then put paper down.
Yeah. I gotta. it's true.
But then the fart blows it off.
Yeah.
Remember that classic, you've layered the whole seat with 300
It's
pieces.
just like a confetti cannon. And
Yeah,
fucking
and then you just lower yourself and it goes, ooh. And then you're just sitting on someone else's piss, aren't you? It's terrifying.
But no, what it is though? Can you get that done professionally? Your ears
Yeah,
can.
of course
Yeah.
you can.
They probably use the same equipment that we used.
If you can have a heart bypass, you can have it waxed.
No, but I
there,
mean
like-
privately. Like,
yeah.
Okay, so who do you go to? What is that called? Ear suction?
like ear,
It's-
throat, and nose doctor. I'm assuming.
It's called less of an issue than not being able to fart unless you go to the toilet.
Yeah, I think you need to see a therapist for that.
How do you hold it in, man? Don't you get like
I
stomach
can't fart.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this
can't
like your
actually
man's
believe
not hot, man can't fart?
I could just imagine you swelling at the table like that.
Yeah, what happens when you really need to
Lord.
fart?
Then I'll go to the toilet, pull my trousers.
But what if
down,
there's no
then-
toilets available?
Then I don't fart.
Well, how'd you hold it in?
It just stays in. It can't come out.
Nico's got an ironclad anus.
Leo's thinking of a film he can make about that.
Yeah.
White men can't jump. I can't believe that, man. I just don't know how you do that, man.
No, I can't fart. Man.
My arse is like a wind machine.
I asked my wife. She never heard me fart in her life.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Imagine the
that's a
one
good
time
thing.
you do it, she went, "I'm leaving you. You're disgusting." Do you fart in front of your missus?
I'd never fart openly in front of my missus, but I will slyly try and one out in the
You
bed.
open your bum hole like that in bed with
Yeah,
two fingers
just
just to let it go.
Well, no, I've got control over my sphincter, but I just let.
To that extent.
Yeah, I've got good control over my sphincter.
Do you poo with the
kegels.
door open, wipe your bum in front of your missus, that kind of thing?
No,
Why?
because it's disgusting.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is
I don't do
disgusting.
that.
We maintain some.
I'll poo in
Yeah,
front
you
of your
got to.
missus.
I always heard that you had to maintain in your relationship something. The woman needs to keep her secrets.
Well, this is the weird thing. So, like
There's that woman who had to go to the doctor or some shit. She was holding in her farts for 10 years and she got ill.
so you've researched this.
I read that
showed
story.
Up, yeah.
She's
I
the
think
female
I think
Nico.
It showed up in Three Speech. We shared it. No.
Right.
Yeah. It was in the
Right,
group
geez.
chat. Yeah.
I can't remember anything.
And then she farted in a jar and sold it or something. Or I've mixed two stories up.
No, you mixed.
Maybe a
That's
Japanese man bought it then.
That's
No,
racist.
they like no, they do. They like knickers in jars.
You can
know.
buy them from vending machines.
Listen, we're happy with racism on this podcast. It's
Nothing
fine.
wrong with knickers in jars as long as you're selling them.
Yeah, how come girls like they won't like if I'm in the shower, she won't come in and like piss like when I'm in the bathroom, but
In
in
bedroom.
the shower?
she's fine with it. If we're having sex, absolutely fine. Maybe a
But
bit too much
This,
information.
women should maintain.
You like getting peed on?
No,
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like you
no,
like
it's one of
golden
those things
showers.
you try. You try like one. Like I've tried it with girls, and then it's just like, well, this is gross. Especially when you're on holiday and you got those like completely tiled bathrooms.
When it
Well, then-
reverbs, you mean?
No, so it's like it's not like
Yeah, the
it's gonna be
reverb's
difficult
the
to-
issue.
It's not like
The
it's gonna be
sound
difficult
acoustics
to
in the toilet.
Clean up.
How many women have pissed on you?
Oh my god, he's counting.
Have you ever seen that? Have you ever been to a piss night?
We're gonna
'Cause
have
you know, I
to-
used to run fetish nights. You know that? Do you know that I used to do
I
that?
didn't know you used to
I
run.
didn't, but I would have assumed.
Yeah. Thanks. Well, I'm that kind of guy.
And you're a club club
Yeah, I was a
DJ.
club DJ.
And a DJ out in Ayia Napa and stuff.
Yeah, I was a DJ and I run a club in a nine up with a couple other guys.
And you were almost.
still
and you had
run?
a,
You still do it?
No. But for about 2 years, I run fetish. You just reminded me because there was one night I walked into one of the dungeons. I mean, I wasn't really involved too much in that bit. I was organising the music, but we was doing it with Rubber Ron. So we had these.
Is that a guy?
Yeah, it's a
Rubber
guy.
Ron.
I thought you just said Rubber On.
No, he's a famous fetish club. He was a famous fetish club dude.
All right, is that?
So there was one room that we went.
He's dead now?
He's a dead rubber.
I don't know. Got no idea. I don't know. He's probably like
breathe.
buried
Pull
somewhere.
up Rubber Ron there, Mooch.
Yeah, we've got to see Rubber Ron looks like.
He's buried, but he's in Tupperware, perfectly preserved.
But there was one room with loads of blokes lying on. There was lots of things going on, but in one room there was a pissing room, and there was lots of blokes lying on the floor and women just above them, just weeing, taking it in turns to wee on them. I was like, "That's lovely."
That
I
reminds
didn't
me
get involved in it. Don't judge
of
me.
a comedian whose name won't be mentioned, Mr. Leather Daddy's UK, who used to shit in a Tupperware, then freeze it for parties later on.
Is this Rubber Ron?
And he,
Yeah, that looks like him.
and there's Rubber One. He actually exists. And they used to go, what I'd do is I
You look like one of the Isley brothers.
What's the Isley Brothers?
That R&B group.
All right.
No, the Isley Brothers.
No.
Famous Motown tunes.
Yeah.
Also, I was going to say one other thing. You had a Channel 4 show and you were going to be a big famous comedian, but you refused to sleep with the commissioner.
I can't talk about that here.
Yeah, you can. That's exactly what you could talk about.
My mother-in-law saw it.
Wait, if your mother-in-law listens to the Three Speech podcast, right, she's got bigger problems.
Yeah, it's true.
Tell us a story and who she
Do you
was.
really want to hear that now?
100%.
Yeah, it's gossip.
Fucking hell. All right, then. Let's see. I haven't told that story for a long time, so I don't know if I remember. I was doing a show called Heavy TV on Channel 4 with Normski. Do you know Normski?
Yeah.
So it was me, Normski, Selena Saliva Godden, who's a poet person, Paul McKenzie. I think
Paul
his name.
McKenna.
No, Paul McKenzie.
Paul McCaffrey.
Nihao, the Radio 1
Oh, yeah.
dude. There was a few of us, and we had a series on Channel 4. It was actually getting really good. Talking of hits, it was getting really good views. It was getting like 350,000 views an episode.
Nice.
I remember.
Nice.
And then I can't really tell you that story.
Say it,
Well, let's see if I can remember. Anyway, basically, I'll edit it down. We was in the Groucho Club. You know that place
Yes.
where they all hang out going, oh, me. So we was in there in Covent Garden, and not Covent Garden, Soho, drinking and on the Channel 4 credit card, which was really nice in them days. You could do whatever you wanted, and we used to frequently go out on the piss. And I can't even remember her name now. I don't remember her name, but she did have massive jugs. And she kept going to me, come back to mine tonight, Antonio. Come back. They all call me Antonio, apart from the people on the show who call me Doctor. And I was like, no. And I actually had arranged to watch Flash Gordon and take some LSD with my neighbours. So
Would you think, looking at Marrese and how he's dressed, that this is a man who takes LSD? I mean, it's a shock to us all.
An amber necklace you've got.
Masculine peyote. So we'd set up a big screen on the back of the house, and we'd got a projector, which was nicked out of Digital Village, and so we was going to watch Flash Gordon, take some drugs, smoke some weed as well, drink some, and they were waiting for me basically. So we'd been out, but she carried on like plying me with like triple Cavousiers, vintage as well, Nick. They were like very expensive. I couldn't leave them, could I? Yeah. And then, so I was down in them, and I did get a bit pissed. Then I stupidly went back. Is that one of those moments where your life branches into two directions? This way is like a nice, easy life. This way is a nice, easy life, making quite a substantial amount of money probably on telly when you could. And this way was just like going back to doing fuck all. And so I chose that route. So I went back to her place, and we carried on drinking. And then I was just thinking, I don't want to have sex with her, man. I just really didn't want to do it. The producer already banged her. And I didn't want to follow in his footsteps, kind
Was
of
she
thing.
fit or ugly?
She was. She looked a bit like a pig. But I don't mean that I don't mean it in a general way. I say women look like pigs. She actually did look like a bit like she was a bit, but she did have massive knockers. It wouldn't have been a bad situation.
It wouldn't be your worst.
No, I've done much worse and not lost a whole career over it. And she
How old was she?
She was older than me by about 10. Lots of predatory women in TV in them days. I don't know about now because I don't know anything about telly now. But there was lots of predatory women in their 40s, and they were just fucking all the young talent.
Henrietta Weinstein.
But I suppose young geezers probably don't mind that as much. I'm not saying it's as bad or as good as doing it to women, but it was happening. And she went upstairs, and I don't know, she came down in a 90, like in a 70s sitcom. You know, like those 90s, like down just below the knee with like frilly, with big knockers, just like, and I just pretended to be asleep on the sofa. And she was like, she was going, Antonio! Antonio! And I was going, and I had drank enough for that to have happened.
Yeah.
She just fucking, basically everything got cancelled within a week. So
Are you
that
sure
was
is
the
that
end
because
of
that's not like a vicious snub or anything? That's just like...
No, it was. I did it. I played the game wrong.
Right.
Basically, I should have never.
Hell have no fury like a woman scorned.
Yeah.
In hindsight, what I should have done, I should have just said I got VD.
Ah.
I thought of that about only
What is VD?
But then she would just say put on a. She would have said put on a condom.
Yeah, maybe, but you can have it all scabies around your nuts, can't you? And stuff. Unless you've got like a full bodysuit like they have in China. So yeah, that fucked up. I did. I have thought about that.
And you regret now you should have beat it?
No, I don't regret. I don't have. You can't have any regrets. But I should have played it differently. I should have played it differently.
At least eat her out. You mean?
With that spatula that I just got. I had a couple of warm spoons with me, but
Could have let her piss on you, man.
Yeah.
no, man, she had a big ass. But I know I like a big bum as well. So yeah, but I didn't do it. But I did.
So hold on.
But
A quite fit woman offered you sex and a TV show, and you were like, "Nah, this is."
This is
Stupid
a man
young
with
man,
morals.
innit?
This is a
How
man
old
with
were you?
morals.
30 maybe.
Right, yeah.
Probably younger than all you lot are now.
I'm
Not saying you're over the bridge or anything.
I'm 29.
So,
I'm 27.
when you look,
years old.
when you look back at that now, do you have regrets?
No, not really. I met my wife on that show, so I got the end of the stick. I got the golden prize. So I did. I met my wife there, and I had a couple of good friends from that show. I had a great time, but I could have played it a bit different and got a bit more out of it. Do you know what I mean? It was a great opportunity to have got more from that opportunity.
Who took your place in that TV show?
No, I had separate things going as well. So I'd made a thing called How to Be a Man, which got like pick of the day in all the broadsheets and many of the tabloids as well. It was like really good.
Crushing it, man.
And it was doing well. And then so we had all these other things lined up, and it was those other things that got cancelled. Not necessarily that series. That series I think got cancelled because we was talking too much truth. And I know it sounds a bit like, hey man, but we was being really too frank. I think that was actually when you could still. Something. This is if you're like this. I might have been the last person to have blacked up on TV. that's a. You can find that on YouTube.
And the first person to do it on the Three Speech podcast.
Yeah. Not obviously not as many times as Justin Trudeau. Who's like, is that real? Yeah, it's Trudeau. He's done it probably like 300-400 times and over various. But I made a VT on a little sketch about skunk called Skunk the Weed from Hell, because it was just when skunk was coming out. You don't smoke? Do you smoke weed?
Why are you looking at Nico when you say that?
Because he's black. And you're a pussy. I don't know either. I don't know he's He's looking at me with his beautiful eyes. And he's sitting there like that. So I made that's just when skunk come out, and it fucked up all of the weed market. So before that, you could get like red seal. You've never smoked, so you don't know any of this.
Oh
shit.
yeah, I remember
You
red
do.
seal, gold seal, all the sort of Moroccan
Temple ball.
squidgy
You could
hash
get all the
and stuff.
squidgy ash. You could get like
nice
Thai
nice
weed.
stuff.
You could get sensimilla from Jamaica. I'm not saying that you're Jamaican. And you could get all these variety of weeds, and then skunk come along and pushed them all out of the way. So we made a little video.
Skunk's like a horrible kind of like.
Yeah, it was giving everyone
instead of
cannabis
just-
psychosis.
Yeah.
So I said a lot of the ideas on that show I was coming up with as well. To be frank, I might as well say that's because that's the truth. So I said, let's do something about.
Was it your idea
skunk.
to black up?
It was.
Simpler times.
It's only because I was playing. We made a little video, which you can still see on YouTube. I think I don't know if it's called Skunk. I think it's
Find
Skunk
it,
the Weed
Mooch.
from
Pull it out,
Hell.
Mooch.
Find
What
it.
I saw a
Let's see how
clip.
But
offensive this
you know
is.
what happened? It was getting loads of views, and I took it off because in them days I wasn't thinking about, oh my god, views and clicks. I didn't even think about any of that shit. But I was, when you get all the emails as a result of every comment and stuff, I was just getting fucking hundreds of emails, and I couldn't keep track of everything. So I took the video down. It had like hundreds of thousands of views, and I took it down. And I don't know if I put it back up again. But then I made.
Is it on your YouTube? How do I?
If it's anyway, it would be just called Skunk the Weed from Hell. But then I had to put like a response video up. Because people were saying you're working for MI5, you're working for the CIA. Because I was slating Skunk.
That was Alistair Williams saying that.
Maybe, yeah. But you know, I'm an advocate for marijuana and its correct use. But I didn't like, and I still don't like. I've stopped smoking now, but I don't like that particularly hybridized, strong form of weed because it does fuck up some people's.
We do have
minds.
the video.
Have we got? Shall we get a copyright if we play it?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, we can't. We can hear it. You can't.
Yeah.
You got dreadlocks in this?
The fires of the belly of the earth, Lord made
Oh, shut up.
weed.
So you're not just doing blackface, you're doing the voice as well.
Skunk
Yeah, I
has
do do the
ruined
voice.
the world
Oh my
of weed.
God.
And the
Oh, is that
free
you,
world as
Marrese?
we
Yeah,
know
that's
it.
me.
That's you.
They grow
Yeah.
it and breed it and genetically modify it to make it as strong as possible to give
I'm not
as
going to play
much
the whole thing.
yield
It's only
as
5
possible.
minutes, but you're not going to play
So
all of
like-
that now. are you?
Like back in the day,
So I just
you
fast
grew-
forward?
You can
so
forward
like
it. It's
a
got
target.
loads
Just
of
forward
good
to the
bits. It's got
racist
loads of-
bit.
It's funny though. It's
from
actually
every
got lots
single
of.
plant that we have fiddled with.
Here we go. Is this it?
No, that's the bit when that's me playing a dealer in the street. So I play lots of characters in it. That's me buying weed off of myself. That's me then high on a what they call again, a hopper, space hopper.
hopper.
Yes, it's got a little narrative, and there's me blacked up in there. You skip
It's
past it.
simpler time in Channel 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no
And
one.
now this was on TV.
Yeah, no
But
one.
I want to see it, Mooch. I
sorry.
see the
Let
black
him
up.
see. Let him see
Well,
the.
I thought
but it's more of a brown up. It's kind of a.
He look like Gaddafi.
I like Gaddafi as well,
Oh,
man.
you look Essex. That's that. I don't. I think
Turn it up, Mooch.
They're just all interested in me doing. It's me. He's a minicab driver. I'm talking to him about weed. But no one. The series commission.
Shut up, Marrese. We're listening.
And a little bit of 419 with my cousin. Look at the board.
What nationality you meant to be there? What accent?
Generic foreigner.
that was
Into the mic.
that was Jamaican, but talking about 419, which is Nigerian.
Was that the actual Jamaican one there? Or was there two black guys in that you played?
No, man. I only did it one.
Oh,
No,
okay,
fucking hell, man.
check it.
Hold your horses. You know what I mean? It's not like a racist fest.
Well, once you've gone black,
That's right. But yeah, I did, no one. But the commissioning the head of the department at Channel 4, she was mixed race. So was that woman. So they never batted an eyelid at that. I'll tell you a really funny thing, actually. She thought I was mixed race as well, because of the way I speak. Because we had a production meeting one day, me, the producer, and her, and she's got like maybe she was mixed race. I don't know what her heritage was, but she was mixed race. And she said, "It's not enough that Antonio's mixed race. We need to get some other people on the show." And I was sitting there and I was just looking at the guy, Jamie, and I was looking at each other going, "What the fuck is she talking about, man?"
You're
But
the Rachel Dolezal of light entertainment.
But she, you know,
that's probably why she thought it was okay.
It's because they're middle. It's because they're like deeply middle, like upper middle class, and I was kind of obviously very
Yeah.
working class, and they just listen to it's perception, isn't it? It's
Is
perception.
Oxbridge a race?
Yeah, look at that man. He's so black, and I'm aware. You're so black. It's wonderful.
We're talking about blackface and blacking up in this week and social activism and shit. In Arizona, a black DJ was accused by diversity and equality officers of blacking up.
Yeah.
So they accused a black man of having blackface.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you be any more racist than that?
And they doubled down as well. So one of them that accused him of blacking up then said, "Well, he's blacker in the photo than he is in real life, so he's put on some sort of face paint to make himself blacker." It's like, no, there's just different lighting. Are you fucking psychotic? He's not black. He's just black. He's not blacking up.
Okay, hell, man.
He had one of those curly afro things on.
He had a wig on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're allowed to wear a wig.
So I guess that's what tricked him.
Yeah, but it was a culturally appropriate wig because he was black.
Yeah.
Well, people can have afros even if you're not black.
Yeah, my brother had an afro.
Nah, that's
He used
racist.
to go
That's
to
racist.
reggae, but but he did. He couldn't help it. God gave it to him, and he liked reggae music. It's true though. He used to go to Shabeens at the top of our road. So
There's the picture.
But it doesn't even look like he's blacking up there.
Does a bit.
Not really.
I mean,
yeah, but the guy on the left's got a wig on,
Yeah,
and the
that-
other guy's got a tash, obviously a false tash on.
Yeah.
Actually, it looks like Village People.
Looks
Yeah.
like Jodie Kamali.
which one?
The one who looks like Jodie
The slightly
Kamali.
shorter one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a bit.
I
yeah.
like his outfit's great. Actually, I do like the one with the orange golfing jacket.
Yeah, that is a strong look. I quite like the disco white suit as well, but this is the orange in the check is a classic.
Actually, it's a very similar disguise to disguise that golfer wears in a movie that's just come out. What's it called? About the Northerner who enters the Open, the British Open. Do any of you know about that film?
No.
Oh, it's a fantastically funny film.
What's it called?
I wish I could tell you, but I've got no memory from smoking too many drugs.
But the funny thing about that, right, is that they've got
I'll remember in a minute.
race and equality officers
Showtime,
who are the most
Phantom of
racist.
the Opera?
Yeah, Phantom of the Open.
Phantom of the Open, that's it.
So I recommend everyone watch that. It's really funny, man. It's actually not many films make me laugh out loud. But he it's about this northern fella. And I actually know someone who this guy used to practice in his back garden, but I don't want to give it all away. I don't want to be a spoiler alert, man. But it's worth watching, man.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Yeah, it's really funny.
I need it.
He enters the British Open just by putting professional guys out. Why not?
Is it available to stream online?
If you've got one of those hot Cody boxes.
It won't be available on Netflix because they're losing hundreds of thousands of
Their
subscribers.
share
Are they?
price is halved in the last 6 months.
Why is that then?
Well, partly it's because we're coming out of lockdown, but the real reason is because they went woke and now they're going broke.
Well, they've
So
lost
that's what happens.
200,000 subscribers in this quarter, and it's going down, and it's going down, and it's going down, and it's it's because one, they're putting the prices up, and two, the content's shit.
The
How much
content
is
shit.
it a month now?
I think it's £10, but like
No, it's
Nico,
like £13.
Nico gave up. It's like, listen, if you're going to put cuties on the platform, people are going to leave, and it's starting to come
And it's
through.
not just that. That's Simon Ferdow's lassie from the Live Comedy Association who called me racist. She did some sort of nonce adjacent show called Sex Unzipped.
Somebody calling you.
No, it's a reminder.
To say nonce.
I'm doing
The picture of a penis flapping
You know,
flashing up on the
Anthony
screen.
and Opie and Anthony.
Opie and Anthony, yeah.
I'm doing that thing. That's why I've got to scoot off.
Make
after
sure you
this.
plug our podcast.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's the same thing as like the Opie and Anthony thing. It's just Anthony, and it's not even Anthony. But we'll see what happens.
Compound Media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll still plug it anyway.
I'll plug it. Yeah, but yeah, what were we talking about?
Talk about Netflix's
Netflix are losing.
Oh
plummeting.
man, yeah. So this Sex Unzipped thing. So basically, they're talking about all this gender queer trans stuff and also fisting and felching and all the different sex stuff. But they've got puppets. They got Muppets to fucking do it. So all these mums have been saying, my daughter added this. My daughter's 7. She added it to her watch list on Netflix because it's got fucking Muppets in it. And then they're talking about fisting and stuff. The whole thing, like so much stuff on the left is just they're just trying to fucking groom kids and all this like you know.
It is. It's the transhumanist, the beginning of their agenda, isn't it?
What's the agenda? Do it without getting us banned.
No, it's like the books in schools, though. You know, about the books, because you've got very young kids, you haven't had to broach the subject probably yet, but they're changing library content, and there's lots of like graphic novels with like explicit sexual content in them.
Really?
Yeah,
Sucking a
man.
dick.
We
One of
did
them's
that last week.
Dick sucking, and there's like there's lots of other kind of nefarious, which me and myself and other parents in our secret group and within the school, obviously I can't talk too much about that and stuff, but we've raised concerns about it. And it's not just in us and our school, it's like around the Western world, especially in America where it's slightly more advanced and they're putting lots of content in there. And then they have to learn, they're part of the curriculum. First they go in the library and then they become part of the curriculum. And, for a lot of people, not only with like Christian values or who are religious in any way, but people who've just got their own set of values and moral kind of high and low ground.
That don't involve nonsense.
You just don't want that shit.
Yeah.
You just don't. You want your kid to be learning perhaps about maths and English and
Not
skewed
fisting.
history.
Rimming, docking, felching.
Honestly, some of it is just not very good and appropriate.
What age are these kids?
Some of them like from 7, 8.
Yeah.
Well,
this is the family
with
sexual
access to library.
age 5.
Our family sex show got cancelled. Cancel culture doesn't
this
exist.
discussion the other day in the pub, me and some other comedians. And
What?
a lot of them are saying, oh, that's just a fringe movement. That's just on the fringes. I'm like, no, this thing is out there and it's coming from the top down.
Yeah,
of course it
and
is,
it's
man.
pervasive. It's all over. It's in the schools, the universities, theater companies feel bold enough to even think about the family sex show. This is all over. This ain't no isolated freak on Twitter, just, you know what I mean, with a fake account putting out stuff like that. This is all around.
Yeah.
And people just want to be blind to it. Oh, no, that's just a few people on the fringes. But as you say, it's subtle indoctrination.
And even if it is just in the fringes, it's like you wouldn't be like, oh no, don't worry about that paedophile. He's on his own.
Well, here's how you know it's not subtle.
There's just a few of them. It's like, no, that's a fucking crime.
Well, you know it's not subtle because Libs of TikTok, which basically exposes this in schools. And shows all the videos. Literally
and it just shares what they've posted themselves.
Shares what they're saying.
It shares left-wing woke people's
Have you heard of Libs
social
of
media
TikTok?
posts.
So Libs of TikTok's like a Twitter account, and they share these liberals going like, oh, we should teach gender and all what you're talking about to kids.
I came out to my kids today and I told them all about fisting and how fucking wonderful it is.
And the Washington Post, Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, did a whole article by a woman called, I've forgotten her name now, but anyway, she did
Lauren
Benzies or whatever the fuck her name is. But anyway, she did the article and she exposed this anonymous account. She said, this is the woman, this is where she lives, and basically she doxed her, right? And the left are fucking militant, right? The Antifa people, they'll go after you, right? So they're like, now she's getting like legitimate death threats.
Yeah.
They knocked on her door this week and put her on the thing, like her family, like knocking on the door. So they've exposed this woman who all she's doing really is kind of amplifying the content that these people are making and like, oh, how dare you show what we're actually doing? That's meant to only be for the kids, not for actual right-thinking adults to find out about. So yeah, the point that you're making, I agree with Nico.
There's something really important, which I can't remember the exact name of, but I wish I'd come armed with it. But there's a way that this is coming into society. I think it's called SOGs or something. I can't remember exactly.
Is this how it was seeded in the 70s and 80s in university campuses?
No. This is a kind of point system that a social point system that's up for corporations at the moment.
Right.
It's been
like Stonewall and stuff. So if you pay money to Stonewall, they'll come in and say, oh look, this company is absolved of sin.
Well, kind of like that. I think I only read about it the other day that this guy's uncovered and put it on. It's an undercover thing, but it's just something like that. There's people don't know what's going on. But that you wonder how comes this all pervasive like that? You know, like all like throughout society. How is it happening? And it's happening through these corporations. And there's a system that's been put in place now, so they have to score points to kind of like get up their share prices. So if they're low down in that rank, I think it's called SOG or SPG or something. SPG could be a
social justice.
No, it's something. It's more kind of like low key than that. Yeah. But it's got all of these elements in it.
Basically, a lot of investments now, like pension funds and stuff, they will only invest in companies with a certain like social justice and equity,
point score.
Well, this sort of score. And you know that means environmental stuff, not dealing with barbarous regimes, all that kind of stuff. No tobacco, you know, no gambling, all that kind of stuff.
And that's how they're doing it. That's how it's seeping through.
But it also means, you know, now obviously with all the social justice stuff, they're like, oh, we're making sure that this company's environmental, social, and justice.
So I was close. I got a couple.
Something like that,
right?
But what is it, Moot?
It's the ESG score.
Yeah, what does that stand for?
Thank God, he's
environmental, social,
so useful.
What is my ESG score? Environmental, social, governance criteria.
Right. So now all companies have got equality, diversity, and inclusion coordinators to go around and accuse black people of wearing blackface. They, you know, now it's sort of embedded in companies that they have to do all the trans rights stuff, they have to do all the gender stuff, all the pronouns, and that's why, man, like when I did for the National Youth Film Academy or whatever, there's all the emails that came from them. It's all like, you know, oh, my name's Steve, you know, he/him, and it's like, why tell me, Steve? I worked it out because you're called Steve.
You know what it's all about in the end. To summarise it, it's like once you take away someone's identity, then you can control them.
How?
Because you could tell them who they are. Once you're identityless, once you don't have a gender.
But they're trying to do. They're trying to make your whole identity. That's what they're trying to make it. So they're making it like not only kind of very andronic society, you know, kind of like they're like a big homogenous glob. But they're taking away your kind of identity from like family, as an individual, as a kind of sovereign being. So then you can just like it's easier to program. But they're trying to make you say your whole thing is your identity, though. They're saying, "Oh, this is."
Well, your like attributes that you can't change.
Yeah.
Your immutable characteristics. So like your age, your gender, your skin color, all that kind of stuff. Your stuff you can't change is what identifies you, rather than the content, your character, your beliefs, you know, all the stuff that Martin Luther King spoke about.
A good man. One of the good ones.
Yeah.
We need more people like him here now, like proper statesmen.
Yeah, we really
Unfortunately,
do.
we've got like people like Joe Biden. Who's just, you know.
Shallow, a husk of a man.
Did you see him
Not
try?
even a man,
Did you see
a
him shake
puppet.
the hand, shake the air? Have you got the video of him just handshaking in midair?
And when he turns round,
I mean,
just
but
like-
honestly,
I tell
though,
people this man is the worst president in history of any president. Even
I
like
think he's just the
president
worst geezer in history.
is-
Of like, he's,
I
I
will
know
let him run
fishmonger
a
down the
pawn
market
shop,
who's
mate.
better
I think
than
he
him.
would have been a good president maybe 20 years ago, but he's just, man, he's too old now. You need somebody with some
fucked, man. He's
virility, some vitality. Someone like Trump.
I'm not being funny though. Like, honestly, Trump was just like superior in every way, wasn't he? He was. Come on, man. There was no wars starting when he was around. I'm not saying he's better or worse, but he was.
Yeah.
Better, clearly. I mean, look, he was
Look at this man.
funnier.
This man is a clown, man.
Look at him, man. It's just. Is he even real? Look. Is he even? Like, I mean, what half the things he's doing? Who is it that
he got in that Elon Musk chip? They're testing it out on him. What
When he
was it
walks
called?
off here, I think
Neuralink.
Walks straight through the flag and he leaves a hole like in Tom and Jerry.
He on that
There's a
Neuralink,
country that have
man.
made a little skit about him. Have you lot shown that? I don't know if it's like Serbia or a country have made a skit in one.
It probably is Serbia because they hate the US because they obviously went and stopped the Serbian like genocide against was it Bosnians and also bombed the the US bombed the Chinese embassy in Serbia.
But the thing is, it's when you know it's all a rigged game. Out of 330 million Americans, that's the best you got. Come on, man.
That will show you that the whole political thing is a game.
Yeah, it's a big game. It's a
joke.
big-
Well, no, but it's an
Gang of
organisation. It's like how the comedians that get on Live at the Apollo aren't necessarily the best comedians. It's the ones who
I mean, look at Tulsi-
suck the right dick and spend time in the power structures and, like, man, we've seen it. We've seen it like,
There's been a couple of good ones.
it's been some fantastic comedians.
Because they had to put some.
Yeah, they want somebody to watch it. I mean, nobody watches it anymore.
Pearls
Viewing
amongst
figures are down
shits,
like
basically.
95%.
But what Tulsi Gabbard, do you remember Tulsi Gabbard? She's an amazing Democratic candidate, but because she's anti-war, I mean, don't get me wrong, she's hot as well, beautiful, like Hawaiian woman. But she's like all her stuff. She's like sharp. She's witty.
Man,
brilliant.
she fucked
just
it up.
completely pushed. Yeah, as soon as she was anti-war, I was like,
No, she's
forget
not
a review.
anti-war. She's anti-Western. She's anti-NATO, and she was pro-Putin, and that's what really fucked her. She's the only candidate to take money from Russia, and I think that's
apart from his son,
up until
apart from
Putin.
Biden's son.
Yeah, fair point. But up until that point, like I thought Tulsi was amazing.
She'd still be better, man. She'd still be better than that geezer.
Yeah, she'd be
100%.
better.
Anybody
Man.
be better than that, man.
Of course,
Come on.
man.
But man,
Anyway.
she should have come out and stood shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine and like fought and defended Western liberal democracy. 'Cause it's
What
the
in
best,
current- like,
fuck,
what's
it's the
going
best
on
thing in
now?
the world. Yeah, man, we got the freedom to go out. We can make change in our own society. We can stop this wokeness. You can't do that in Russia.
Yeah, okay, fair point. But look what was happening in Canada.
In Canada, you can still go out and change things. Bad things
But
will
then-
happen to you. Man, bad things happen to me. I've been like talking about Nihal. I used to do a show every week. Me and Dame Baptiste did a thing with Nihal. It was a nice, easy £150 a week, and it was great. And I got like as soon as it transpired that I was like I was based and not like woke and stuff. I get unceremoniously booted off it, and I messaged the guy back. I was like, "Are you I can't believe you're cancelling me. This is like joking, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?" And yeah, they were serious.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think we've got. They'd love to have.
This-
It's an illusion of democracy more now.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
And it's been for a while.
Let me make a
Been
point
for a
about
while.
Canada.
I agree with that.
People were protesting in Canada, and their bank accounts got stopped, and they've been thrown in prison
which is
for
bad.
protesting.
And we can.
That's
we
not
can,
democracy, though.
Man,
is
we
it?
can share that. We can share that on social media. We can share it in the press. We've got open and free press. Everyone's like pretty transparent, and that's
there's no transparency.
That's
man.
obviously bad. The government's always going to do bad shit, and you've got to hold the government to account. But like the government doing like some bad shit doesn't mean that the whole system's fucked and Putin should take over.
It's varying degrees. It's not like a good and a bad. There's varying degrees up each slope.
Nah, Western liberal democracy is good. And but
No, you
whole
see
of the-
everything
the whole
in
of the
black
land-
and white. You see everything in black and white these days.
It's true.
Nothing.
not that-
no,
Leo,
there
Leo.
are things that
Let them-
happen in.
It literally is
Let them
black and
speak.
fucking white.
Leo,
There are
one
things
at a
that are
time.
happening. Western civilization is in a period of decadence, and it's gone too far, and it's heading down. It's this weak, soft nonsense now. Now, people might say, "Oh, Russia and China, they're dictatorships and whatnot," but a lot of what they do and how their society is make sure that they function with a certain level of, this whole woke nonsense and stuff ain't going on in China, it ain't going on in Russia, because they have some old-fashioned views about how men should be and how certain things are. And we have just displaced all of that, and we're like heading down this progressive thing where we just let everything, you want to be this, you want to call yourself a unicorn, you want to do whatever, you want to say you have 22 genders or whatever, go ahead and do it. And that is madness.
Yeah.
You have to have a framework and a structure for your society. And right now we're allowing any and everything to go and just accepting that, this is the West and these are great values. No, everything has its good and bad. There's no ideology that's perfect. So you have to say there's some good about the West. Yes, we can speak out about our leaders and shit like that, and that is good. But then you have to also say when there's bad that is leading to the downfall of society and our morality here in the West. And the morality in the West is on a downward slope.
I agree with that, but let me just counteract by saying, like, all this woke bullshit in the West, it's a luxury. It's a luxury built on the strength of Western liberal democracy, and you can see the weakness of autocracy in China and in Russia. Look at Russia's army. There's no if you got an autocracy, the incentive structures, the power structures, the control structures are all weak. It's all based on servility, and it's all based on fear. So it doesn't work. It's not like Western liberal democracy, which always comes out stronger. We're vastly outperforming China. China's the one that's crumbling. China's crumbling right now. Look what's happening in Shanghai. City of 27 million people. They're having protests and stuff. Savage
because
protests.
of that craziness
because
that
of
they're doing the lockdown.
Because of
craziness of a lockdown. But
we're not having any lockdown.
No.
But it's still, but
China has more power now than the state. Like compared to the 80s and whatever, USA was the superpower and could dictate shit. Now China is that power and dictates what goes in American movies, what happens with American sports.
To a certain extent,
China has more clout now than America.
The West is still vastly more powerful.
Give it more years, and China will.
So there's a reason for that, and that's because
more
of
dominant.
There's a reason for that, and that's because of capitalism. You see, it's all about money. That's what we care about more in the West because it's a capitalist society. The reason why China can dictate what's in movies and what NBA stars can say is because they have so much money that these people who don't necessarily give a fuck about the government or their country, they care about the bottom line of the NBA or the bottom line of how much this movie makes on opening night. They're the ones who buckle, and they
capitalism is part of it, but also let me just say one more thing. There is a weakness in democracy, and I don't agree that we have a proper democracy here in the West. We have the illusion, as Tony said.
No, we got
no. This is the illusion of democracy, and all our elections are just as rigged as they complain about elections in Africa and shit.
No.
But no. It's just more sophisticated. It's more sophisticated. The technology that's used in the rigging of the election, it does happen. There's rigging and all sorts of, they try and influence people to just have more sophisticated techniques. Anyhow.
Yeah, they influence people, but it's not to the same level as like Putin or something like
that. Biden wasn't voted in. He's a hoax.
Anyhow.
And there we go.
You better get it funny.
Anyhow. So we talk about democracy being, there's, again, everything have good points and bad points. Democracy, on paper it looks good, but if you want to run a country long term and you have a strategic long term goal, dictatorship is better in the sense that you can have a long-term vision. Whereas, hang on, every 4 years, a different president comes in and tear up what the previous president did. So you get this back and forth where you not have a cohesive vision to go somewhere. So if you have...
That's what the left are saying. They want more benevolent dictators.
If you have a dictator who has a long-term plan and he's a smart man, then he can stick to that plan as long as he's alive and have a long-term vision.
It would be good if they were
materialized. You get what I'm saying? But democracy... Barack comes in and he sets up whatever, and then Trump comes in, tears that down. Trump builds up his thing, then Biden comes in, tears that down. So as a country, you're not really on the, you know what I mean? You're not
but we don't.
making progress.
I don't want the
so
government.
anyhow, there's benefits to both systems, and if anything, you're being hooked on this whole thing about Putin bad. Anybody
fucking bad. We'd be in jail in Russia.
Hold on. Like the slightest thing to say that Putin is 100% bad.
He is 100% bad.
I don't think so.
There is not a...
I'm not going to say that this man is 100%.
Leo, he'd be with you on the anti-woke stuff, though.
Like, no, I don't believe he would.
I believe it's
people,
more nuanced than just
believe that
Putin bad.
No,
That's all I'm saying.
Putin wants to, Putin's viciously homophobic and stuff. Like, being anti-woke isn't being viciously homophobic. It's like...
No, but that's what I think. I don't think there's any black and white in this.
No, but there fucking is.
There ain't, mate.
Putin
That's
is
what I'm saying,
100%. But it's like, man...
Let Tony have a... We know your opinion.
Let me just explain the inherent weakness in autocracy and in dictatorship. So, yeah, they can have a long-term strategic look, and certainly the Chinese Communist Party had it when it was a committee. Committees work slightly better, although the Soviet Union showed that, a centrally controlled economy is doomed to fail. But when you've got an autocrat like Xi Jinping, who's the leader now, so he's not ruling by committee, he's become an autocrat. He's become a dictator. And now we're seeing we talk about capitalism, China being a huge market. Xi Jinping is he's arrested Jack Ma. Jack Ma's disappeared. All these Chinese tech companies have been shut down. And so he's weakening. He's weakening the actual... basically, societies thrive when government's small and basically, in effect, I think that electoral turnover, you basically don't want a government doing stuff. You want to just leave it to the people. All we need to be is free and we can do what we want. So if there's a new government every 4 years, fucking great, because they won't have a chance to fuck everything up for us.
Okay, so let me just make a point now. Then we here is a gilded prison. There is an open kind of prison.
We're not in prison here,
right? So this is where the system is pushing society towards a digital passport, digital identity, social credit score, like they got in China. So once you enter into that system, then you can be more controllable, but in a kind of amenable way, like in a kind of it's like the whole coercion about the V, all right? You don't have to take it. But if you don't, you're fucked. You might lose your job. You do this, you lose that. You lose list privilege. You can't travel anymore. But you don't have to do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's called coercion. So here they do it in a more slippery. You're right. They do it in it's a much more sophisticated, because they have to give the illusion to the middle classes, especially, who keep the machine running. The machine runs because you have the management system of the middle classes keeping everything going. If they don't have their nice big Range Rovers and their nice cars and their nice big houses and shit and delivery from Waitrose, the system will crumble in minutes. So they have to keep that buoyant. That has to stay at a certain place. Leo is right. There's rights and wrongs on both sides. There's no way is it right here and wrong there. That's just wait. It's a false paradigm, because there's been troubles in Ukraine not only for hundreds of years, but since 2014. There's a lot of people do side with the Russians in Ukraine.
Well, some people do, but the solution isn't to bomb.
Someone
wait. So what happens? So you see the same pattern of events. Everything keeps kind of repeating, like we saw in Syria. Hospitals are bombed, and we see it on TV. We absorb it, and we go, and we start spewing out, oh my God, Putin, and then we put blue and yellow flags everywhere, and we start reacting to it emotionally, because they know how to trigger. They know how to squeeze the points and trigger it. But it's happened with the whole C thing for 2 years, where it was misinformation. All the top virologists in the world not allowed to speak, all being they're being shadow video banned, all their content being taken down. People with who are the top Nobel Prize winners in the world being suddenly silenced and their whole Wikipedia entries being changed. This is not like democracy.
And then all these fact checkers.
Yeah, and all the fact checkers
who back up
especially the independent fact checkers, which is
narrative.
the most.
People buy that nonsense.
Yeah.
Absolute.
So basically, there's no. I don't think there's a good and a bad side. There's just varying degrees of shit, sloping each side up to. Obviously, it's better to be here. If someone said to me, "Where would you rather be here or in the heart of Ukraine or in Shanghai?" I'd rather be here. I can go and get a kebab in a minute if I want to. If I want fat, obviously. But where we're heading. So this digital system and the digital money. Once that comes in, if we don't resist it strong enough and it comes in fully, they could just turn you off.
Yeah.
You just get turned off. You go to a protest, we've got you with facial recognition, your points go down. You read the wrong literature, your points go down.
Yeah.
You know, you say the wrong thing on social media, and that's already happening in Australia, where people were making comments on Facebook, and the police were coming around and arresting them in their home.
Yeah.
So we've seen it happen. We've seen Justin Trudeau taking people's bank accounts and freezing them because they were on protest, legitimate protest. So I'm
peaceful as well.
Yeah, peaceful, legitimate protest.
Not Black Lives Matter peaceful. I mean, actually peaceful.
Yeah, in a democracy, you're allowed to protest. We have fought tooth and nail for generations to have those rights. They haven't been given to us by some elite fucking families and fools. They've been won by our ancestors, by the collective have won those rights to protest. We've won those rights to our freedom. They're inalienable rights that are given to us by our birth on this planet, not awarded to us by some rich fuckers. But now they're being eroded. The rug's been pulled out.
Actually, yeah, this is the thing. We getting fucked over here is just we getting fucked with Vaseline. Whereas in them other countries,
perfect. That sums it up.
Yeah, in them other countries,
it's
more
fingers.
Blatant. You're like raw.
4 fingers and sand.
Exactly.
Can I just say something to the government? Government, I told you this would happen when you took our rights away over all the COVID bullshit. It would have been just better to just let us keep our rights and not fucking lock us down, because now everybody thinks that everything comes after COVID is all some sort of government conspiracy.
Because it is.
Yeah. So now see what you've done by lockdown. I told you taking human rights away was a bad idea.
Now the media always was corrupt and has an agenda.
The media, even this week.
It's all out there to see. It's all out there. Agenda 2030, the Event 201. All of it is out there. It's whether you choose to look at it. It's like the whole thing we was talking about
Just
earlier.
connect the dots.
You either choose to look at information about kids' books in schools, or you choose not to.
Yeah.
You choose to stay at home and watch Netflix with its decline in viewership, or you go out and you look at things in the world and you absorb it and make your GB News. I think very good. Neil Oliver, very good guys. Sends a lot of sense. But you either choose to look at things and you make up and you have a new perspective, your perception changes, or you just keep taking the perception that someone gives to you.
A lot of people, I realize, is that they don't want to address. They want to live in a bubble, they want to think that the world is good, lovely place, because then it will keep their mental equilibrium, you know what I mean? And they will
cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
Cognitive dissonance,
but
key word.
A lot of people now, some wake up, like my wife used to never believe me. And I used to tell her, listen, all of this crazy stuff with the kids and whatnot, that is coming here to Britain. And she never used to believe it. And I was telling her this 7 years ago. And I told her, listen, as soon as this shit comes here, we bouncing. We going Barbados.
Yeah, where do I go?
We're
Inverness.
I'm see, where
you
do
get
I
in
go?
a suitcase.
To Russia.
So
I'm not going to fucking Russia.
So
you like Putin so much.
you know
Mexico.
You know what?
Mexico.
Change their minds. Some of the things, some of the books you're seeing at schools. One thing, a friend came over and the friend said, "Listen, we they had the kids in and the parents in for this play day kind of thing. And there's a dressing up box." And the friend told her, because her friend is actually my friend and her friend too, but she's my friend first. And she... Yeah, that's not important. But anyway,
how long do you know this person?
She's at the date, the play thing with her son and whatnot. And a kid goes over to the dressing up box and they're just looking through the outfits in there. So they've got the boys and the girls and stuff all in one box. So he's pulling out Iron Man, Spider-Man maybe, and there's like a princess thing, and he's just literally going through looking at what he's pulling up, and he pauses for a second at the dress, looks at it, and then puts it to the side. And my friend said immediately, like, this counselor comes over and says, "Are you having thoughts that you might be a female?
What the fuck?
Do you think you are putting mad ideas in this little kid who's probably just 6 years old?" They're like, "Do you think you might be a girl or have feminine thoughts?" Or, you know what I mean? I put him nonsense in 6, 7-year-old kids who's just literally looking through the box.
Literally,
and that's
nonsense.
one of the things where my wife was like, "Oh fuck,"
Yeah.
because she heard it.
Everyone has their
directly
line.
from- you know
Everyone
what I mean?
has their line,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
once that's crossed, suddenly kind of like the barrier in the brain just crumbles away, and you just see it, and you think, "Oh, hold on, shit." But it is much more comfortable.
There was one thing on Netflix. You go on Netflix, right? And I looked at the just the thumbnail of the picture, and I just looked at it, and based on the colors in that thumbnail, I told her my kids are not watching that. It's going to be problematic, 100%.
What colours?
And then she said, like, when I left the house and whatnot, she put it on and she said, lasted about 5, 6, 7 minutes max. And she was like, "Yeah, trash. Trash." Because it's...
But you know what? If you find out that the system's been lying to you, it's like finding out that your parents have been lying to you.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of that. So you imagine you suddenly get told by your mum and dad, you're 25 years old, "We're not your parents, we found you in a bush. You're the bastard child of those people round the corner, the ice cream man and the woman in the laundrette." You're like, "What?" "Yes, and we don't love you either. Everything we've told you is lies and bullshit." You're like, it's fucking emotionally, it's like destroying. It's like
Yeah,
the
but ice
collapse of your whole belief system. Yeah, exactly. So it's the
Sweet
whole
ice cream.
collapse. So people
I
would
wonder
rather
why my
keep
clothes
pushing
were so
back.
clean.
Yeah. So
They don't want to know, but ignorance is bliss.
Yeah,
Nick.
no. On some issues, she's even more radical than I am now.
Yeah, that's what
And
happens.
she's
They
seen
start
it.
going into various
she's
rabbit
seen
holes.
it now, and she's like, "Fuck," you know.
Yeah,
So
I think this is all right to say. I won't let my mother-in-law see this, but my mother-in-law has woken up to a variety of things, and she was like a very law-abiding, tax-paying, middle-class person, wonderful, beautiful couple. My in-laws, I love them dearly, but suddenly they've gone like this. And they're just like, "We don't trust the system, no
my
man.
therapist as well, mate.
We don't trust the system, no man." All you have to do is look at the media for the last few years, especially the last 2 or 3 years, then you realise the system is not to be trusted implicitly, like you believe it is.
Yeah.
You know, there's always some truth, but don't get me wrong as well. As well as that, there's lies on every side.
Yeah.
That's why it's never a black and white issue.
Do you think there's some lies on Putin's side? I think there's a
plenty,
few.
plenty.
He's almost as bad as
I think he's probably
Boris
one of,
Johnson.
I think it's not about being as bad as Boris
fucking
Johnson. He's
100%
definitely
evil.
smarter than Biden, though, isn't he?
That's not a good benchmark.
I'm just saying.
Biden 20 years ago, though.
But
listen,
look at what the West has done. Just take one example. Look what the West done to Libya. Libya was all right. You know, it was a functioning country. No, there's facts about Libya. The country was like a first world. He was trying to, when you got married, you got loads of money from the government. The oil wealth went through to the public.
Standard of living there was much better than
Suddenly got bombed into the Stone Age because he was trying to sell oil with a gold-backed dinar. So he wanted to start selling the oil. None of this is funny. We'll find some funny shit in a minute. But he was because anyone who tries to fuck with a petrodollar, suddenly the planes come in and bomb it back. There's no excuse
a popular
about
uprising across.
It wasn't.
There was.
It's called sending in mercenaries. It's sending in your people. Sending in the CIA. No way, man.
He also
Never.
wanted to do
Never.
a Pan-African type of currency or some shit like that as well.
The people, listen, what it boils down to, the people of the country, which is all about the people of your country. That's what it should be about, the people. The people were hundreds of times better off than they are now.
No, that's true.
They're now being sold in, the slave trade came back to Libya. They've been selling people in cages because the whole thing fell apart.
Listen,
Society fell
anytime
apart.
America or these Western countries go into places like Africa and South America and whatnot, you could get fucked. The same shit happens
Not
in
every
Barbados.
time. No, but the mistake-
IMF and the WHO and all of them are all gangsters, And they
What's the
fuck up these
difference between what
They just
Russia
got-
are doing in Ukraine and what America have done in Iraq and what America have done in 10 other countries?
Well,
They
at
just
least
got better
difference.
PR.
At least America. At least
They just got
America.
better PR, that's
At least
all.
America.
I
was-
believe it's white people.
No, fuck no. America was trying to bring democracy, not trying to snuff out democracy. No, I'm fucking serious.
You believe
the
that? You're
mistake,
mad.
the mistake,
Madman.
the mistake.
Via a bomb.
Listen, the mistake the
We'll
West
bomb you
always
into
makes.
democracy.
Listen, the mistake the West always makes is
Over and over again.
Listen, the mistake the West always makes is it goes in thinking, oh yeah, we'll kill loads of people and then somehow they'll turn into France. It's like, no, that's not like you've got a deeply tribal country. You're never going to get. Look at Afghanistan. You're never going to be able to impose
It's not for
Western liberal
benevolence
democracy
that
there.
America's
Stop
going into
trying.
these
No way.
places.
Never.
It's
But
not
America's
for
not-
benevolence.
Listen, the West
All
isn't.
of South America, all of those leaders who got assassinated or died mysteriously
fucking communists and stuff.
in plane crashes.
in a
No,
Okay,
the
all right.
people were
Hold
not
on.
crying out
Hold on.
for
You're talking
America
about,
to come in.
Hold on, you're talking
Same
about
thing in
South America.
Africa.
Wait.
Same
You're
thing
talking
in
about South
Africa.
America, and you're saying they're communists. Pinochet.
Yeah, Pinochet was right wing.
Okay, so he
And
was
free market.
our guy.
Yeah.
And he fucking killed how many of his
he was
own
a
people?
terrible
He murdered
But you've
them.
gone back.
He was our guy. But I've gone back to an.
You've got-
I've
to
gone back-
1980s.
There's like
Terrorist
6,
thing, man.
7 different.
I've gone
back
back-
to like this is like when somebody says, "Oh, right-wing comedians are all disgusting. Look at Bernard Manning." It's like you've gone back to General Pinochet.
I've gone back to 1980.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before they had the thing. I can go back throughout history. We go Iran.
What was Attila the Hun's politics?
Well, the thing is, the point
Shagging
is,
elephants.
where you're,
Again, I'm not talking about women.
it's Nico said it right. The Americans aren't going in there to be like, oh, we're benevolent. They're going in there
they're
to
not,
make their own, to put their own spin and perspective on
Yeah,
They're
it.
going in there to take over.
Yeah.
To take over, to put their corporations
Yeah.
in, to take over the oil, to get hold of
Take
the money.
over the resources,
Take over the
whatever, all
resources.
of that.
They're an
Wherever
empire.
there's a country that has got fuck all resources, and there's no Americans to be found. Wherever there's
Exactly.
oil or wealth or some other like geopolitical place that they would like to have, then they're there and they're there with their planes and then they're taking over.
Diary of an Economic Hitman.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they would
yeah,
tell
yeah.
you all they did in South America, all the people who were assassinated, and all the leaders who wanted to keep the resources for their people and sell it out. And America's like, nah, let's
You see
smoke
again,
him.
but the thing is here, it's not like there's a better system we're voting for. Nobody wants like to have the Putin or the Chinese system. Nobody wants to live that. But it's also in the same breath, it's like our system is like corrupt as well. The whole of it is a corrupt thing. You get the oddly. What's that guy who used to drive around in a Beetle? He was a South American.
Uruguayan president.
guy, yeah.
Yeah, that's a genuine dude. Him, Gandhi. There's a handful of them that emerge up, get into
Well,
power.
funny enough,
Gandhi
now
was a
they
nonce.
left us saying Gandhi are racist or some shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
but
Gandhi's
of
right.
course,
And also he's a
because
nonce. He used to sleep in the same bed as a 14-year-old girl to test his piety or something.
Hebephal or whatever they
No,
say.
nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But what what his overall thing of what he did was a great thing. You know, it was an overall thing. That guy, the Uruguayan lead. There's a genuine dude. What's his name, Darius?
I don't know.
I don't know his
I've
name,
forgotten
but
it.
But yeah, anyway, you know, he's like
And he
drove around-
legalized marijuana as well.
Yeah, which bruv, come on. You know, not again, not skunk.
And not skunk. And not skunk.
Yeah, but that shows you that you can now and again one genuine person does.
Cordano.
There you go.
Cordano.
And which is also a brand of weed now. Yeah, you can get
Just say
Cardano
Alberto.
and also Bitcoin.
Yeah.
There's a-
It's a cryptocurrency.
So the good people do get in now and again. If we had a world run by people like that, very different. There'd probably be very little of these kind of like regime changing wars.
But
as
it's the
Tulsi
power.
Gabbard
It's the
called
power
them.
structure that, like, you don't really like. The great thing about Western liberal democracy is it doesn't really matter that much if bad people get in because you can get them out again.
Well, can I just
But
say?
you know what happens?
Can
But
I
it's
interrupt?
not, it's
In
not
an
one thing
autocracy,
there.
you're relying-
You think you're getting them out, then you get like Bush, and then his son comes in. So it's
Yeah,
just like
because he was good. They were both good.
really.
They're both fucking wicked.
What's the
fucking presidents.
statistically odds of the two people from the same family being good enough to run a country out of 330 million? It's probably
Yeah.
trillions to one. That's exactly
Oh, what,
like
you-
Roman Empire, when it's just a
You're
legacy
just
of family.
defending Gaddafi, who's obviously his sons were going to take over.
But Gaddafi did a good job. Well, we never know
Nah,
that. He did a great job.
Did you like
There was
him?
more,
Did
there was
you
more
like him
stability
raping-
when
you like
Gaddafi
his-
was there.
Listen,
Did you like his rapes? I mean, like,
see what I mean? It's just like, what, you think them lot not involved in nefarious child porn activities? Look at fucking
Listen, man.
Biden's son. He's the leader of the free world. His son's a crooked, crack-smoking cunt face.
Bill Clinton went to that Jeffrey Epstein island, and you know those girls had a great time. There was a buffet, there were swimming pools. It's a tropical island. Come on,
I think it's just been so under the radar what Justin Trudeau did.
And again, his old man was a leader as well of Canada.
And but the
Again,
way that he just silenced the convoy, and if I'm not mistaken, he signed some laws in that's going to make it so that he might be this dictator that you're talking about. And actually, funnily enough, I've been reading that the left are saying, actually, maybe we should defer to like elite dictators such as Jeff Bezos and these people. They know better than us, and they're trying to get that in your thing. I actually think we have the best democracy, but I do think...
And the best plugs.
And definitely have the best plugs.
Three MPs in the European Parliament got up and when Trudeau visited recently and just slated him. Slated him. You can find that online. I can't remember their names, but 3 MPs from around Europe got up and they slated Trudeau. So two of them were saying, you've got no right to speak here because you've been trounced in democracy. He kind of just sat there with his mask on. And he just sat there as they just fucking knocked 10 bells out of him verbally. It was amazing to watch. It's not just normal people thinking
the thing
this.
is, you watch that and nothing happens.
But at least they're getting their voices out there.
It does make a difference, and it'll harm Trudeau in the next
But they're
election.
doing it here as well. They're always trying to bring in laws in the last especially last 2 years, where we're not, you get done for protesting, where you're not allowed to do this. You can be banged up into psychological ward with only the consent of one doctor instead of it used to be free to safeguard against any like that darkness happening. The government here trying to do exactly the same thing, slipping it in. It's like you've gone to sleep and they've Vaselined your bumhole and they're just slipping it in. Like you said, a little bit of Vaseline. You wake up and suddenly Boris Johnson's giving you one up the arsehole. And you're like, how did this happen? He goes, too late, I've come all over your back. It's like,
he wouldn't come over your back. He loves having kids.
They're fucking slippery because they've got hundreds of years of experience. The American civilization's young. Here's like the Oxford University is older than the Aztec civilization. That's how fucking old the system is here, man. Them geezers in wigs, they know what they're doing.
Exactly, to think that media and shit leave things up to chance and democracy, people in power leave things up to chance. Nah.
Come on.
Everything is fucking guided. There's an agenda behind everything. Listen, look at them men by Bernays, that guy Bernays, who was Freud's nephew or some shit, when they tried to
the PR guy.
Yeah, the PR man. Them men been studying how to manipulate the masses for decades, mate.
And he makes a nice sauce as well.
And the thing is, it's like when they did in that what documentary? What's that guy that made them long ass?
Adam Curtis.
Yeah, Adam Curtis documentary.
Hypernormalization.
Yeah.
Hypernormalization.
Yeah. There's the one where the man said that smoking. They just tricked like the women into smoking.
Pregnant women as well.
To try and make it look like a women's lib thing. And they staged there was having this political campaign or something, and the tobacco people was like, listen, if we get some cameras of women smoking, they may think that this is a movement, you know what I mean? Like, I can do what I want, and they fashioned it as a woman's lib or women's empowerment thing, but it was just about that money.
Yeah.
Getting their product to a larger base.
It's sexy. Women smoking is sexy, though, isn't it? I don't know if you've ever been to Amsterdam.
A business,
big cigars, big.
A business should do that. A business should do that. That's a good thing.
Everything that you see in the papers or whatever is there for a reason. There's a hand guiding every single thing.
Nah, you think there's a hand guiding this?
Not this, but we're not the media. But hold on.
Hold on, hang on.
I've been accused of being controlled opposition.
If this gets bigger, eventually certain shit is gonna happen.
Let me
to get bigger.
Leo, let me just point out one thing. So there is, to a certain degree, a hand guiding this. There's certain words and there's certain topics that we technically aren't able to speak about in the way that we want because we'll get demonetized or even just taken offline.
Yeah.
So there is.
We speak about happening. We speak about them on every episode.
And that's why no one listens.
But also, why are they so
we can't
scared
make
of
money?
Why are they
so it's gonna push us to stop saying that.
But why are they so
we get
scared?
edited, and we're supposed to be the free
truth
speech.
is scary.
We can put it out in Rumble.
We edited ourselves already. So anyhow, Joe Rogan, dude, he is the person that got a lot of people into conspiracy theories. He did. He used to be, we did not land on the moon. Go back and watch the earlier shit. Joe was like, the moon landing didn't happen. He used to believe that. The JFK thing. 9/11, a lot of them. And then there's an episode where Eddie Bravo, who used to come on a lot, and he's not there anymore.
That's because he lives in LA still.
No. But
can I just say at that point, I've got my own podcast about that very subject.
What subject?
About conspiracies and metaphysics. It's called,
yeah. That's a surprise.
How can we listen to that?
It's on Spotify, Galactic Zoo.
Galactic Zoo.
I've just done one about the moon landing.
Yeah. So let me just finish this. So there's an episode where Eddie Bravo is on there. And Eddie Bravo looks Joe dead in the eye. He says to him, listen, who got to you? He says, look, you can watch it. He's going, who got to you, Joe? Because you used to believe all. And then his, you know what happened? Sponsors came in and were like, yo, we gonna give you this money, but you can't be pushing these theories out there.
That's what happened when he went on Spotify, wasn't it? That's what when he went on Spotify.
You know what I mean? So a lot of the things Joe used to push, he stopped pushing because big sponsors and big money came in. I was like, yo.
And I want you to know that we are prepared to do that too. The exact same Ambrosia, we will fucking listen. We will switch. Leo will love Putin. We will switch on a dime.
You know, Ambrosia are going to get in touch and ask. They're going to pay us to take that off the table.
That's the plan.
100% jizz. Yeah.
Instead of sponsorship, we have just like corporate hostages.
Joe Rogan didn't need to sell out though because he's got fucking plenty dough.
Yeah.
But it's when he went on Spotify, like it's some of his episodes, I think one with Alex Jones, maybe one with there's a few people who are a bit too far. They didn't make it to the Spotify, so they all got kind of like vetoed and kind of
but that's
vetoed.
But you know, let me say this before I forget, and then you can say there's a whole point where everyone's saying, "Oh, the media's," but that's why they're so scared of Elon Musk buying Twitter because they won't be able to dictate the narrative. There's even footage of the CNN journalist going, "He wants to dictate the conversation, and it's our job to dictate the conversation." But show that clip, Mooch. If you do
it's a woman, isn't it?
It's a woman. She goes, they're not allowed to think for themselves. We think for them.
The worst thing, there's something even worse than that. There's the one with the World Economic Forum where the woman literally says, we are the elite and the masses are not listening to us or doing what
they're supposed to do.
The woman literally said the masses are not following our guided intentions or whatever. Man, don't touch my fucking hand, man. Don't get me stick up in here.
He's guiding it.
Yeah. So she's like, we are the elite and everything that we say should go and the masses should follow us blindly. Literally said that on a WEF
they believe that.
podium.
People do believe this because, they see the masses as a herd.
Yeah.
That the herd needs to be controlled and culled and directed.
So this whole idea people have that we live in a pristine, functioning democracy is madness. To think that is insane.
But you can vote out anybody you...
No, you can't really.
There's no one to vote
It's happened
in.
loads of times.
But look at Keir Starmer. Does anyone actually believe that he's a Labour person and he's the best person for that job? That fucking evil Bond villain is almost as bad as Klaus Schwab.
He's better than Jeremy Corbyn.
Well, we'll just not go down that route.
But he's there by the elite.
He's not like a John Smith character. He's not like a real Labour person.
Oh, but but Labour can't
a lot of Labour got kicked out. The genuine Labour people all got kicked out left, right and centre. Suddenly he comes out of nowhere and becomes head of Labour. Well, it's just they didn't even challenge the government about one thing in the last 2 years.
Anything in the lockdowns or anything.
No, they just wanted it worse.
Yeah.
Can't you make it harder? Can't you give it to me more? I want nobody to ever do anything ever again. I'm Keir Starmer. I let off Jimmy Savile, but let's not talk about that. Oh, yes.
Exactly.
And the grooming gangs.
Actually, that talk. Should we do our nonce of the week, or should we do Leo's feud of the week?
Who's the nonce of the week?
Well, remember, this is the thing. Remember that Harvey Dent guy on Twitter where he's talking about is the account
the guy from
delete?
Batman.
It is not Harvey Dent, but the picture. Remember, I sent the thing and he said
somebody's saying that's a fake profile.
Well, but here's the thing. Even though it is fake, and I think it is fake, right? Have you got that tweet of that guy who basically saying, "Oh, we should be allowed minor attractive." Even if it is fake, it's like it opens the door to get people thinking, and the people are like, yeah, you know what? We should be allowed if the kids are consenting. And even
have you seen somebody say this?
Yeah, I sent you the fucking tweet. You read it.
Yeah, and I didn't think like, oh, this is a good idea.
Yeah, you didn't because you're right-minded. But if you're a fucking liberal and you think, oh, it's fine to teach an 8-year-old how to suck a dick, then and you think it's fine to give an 8-year-old puberty blockers, if they can consent to changing their body, why can't they consent to sucking a dick?
That's a good point.
That's the argument.
That's a really good point.
And this puts the story into there where they say, oh, look, even if these are fake, they're presenting and everyone goes, oh, this is a hoax, it's disgusting. It's testing the water.
Not fake is this guy. I just posted it in the group. Mooch, pull that up.
Yeah, this guy's not. I've seen that. And
pull that up.
Yeah,
this is a professor, dude. A professor saying this madness.
Yeah, I've seen this guy. This is fucking mental.
A professor. The fact that people are so bold enough to say this crazy shit.
They say it out loud.
Yeah. Back in the day, they would have never said this.
At least pedophiles used to fucking hide.
And have
hide in
sweets.
Vans. And they'd have sweets and dogs because they knew what they were doing was wrong. Now, today's nonsense don't even... They got the gall to turn up without any sweets or puppies.
Let's hear him.
Imagine that an adult male wants to have sex with a 12-year-old girl. Imagine that she's a willing participant. A very standard, very widely held view that there's something deeply wrong about this, and it's wrong independent of it being criminalized. It's not obvious to me that is in fact wrong. I think this is a mistake, and I think that exploring why it's a mistake will tell us not only things about adult-child sex and statutory rape, but also about fundamental principles of morality. Imagine that an adult male...
That's it looped.
Imagine that an adult
Do you want to listen to it again?
No.
And it gets worse as you scroll down, but
As you listen to it over and over again.
Just normalising paedophilia. You know, we'd move forward through the ages because, I mean, humans did used to have sex younger age in antiquity. So
because we died when we were 16,
Yeah,
so we
exactly.
kind of had to.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. So I mean, Greek soldiers, you know, like Spartans, but they would have a young boy, wouldn't they? And so not only turn the kebabs on the old charcoal, but to give them one when the time was right. So that was a kind of normal part of society.
Afghanistan and
Muhammad
Pakistan.
had peace be upon him, had a bride, Aisha, at 13 years old. It's like a normal, but we moved away from that and made it 16 years old because, you know, people living longer, etc., etc. Society changing. Maybe us thinking, oh, that's not a good thing because you can just bang any old kid at any age. So you have to wait till they're kind of an adult and they've like got some conception of what they're doing themselves. What that guy's doing is what is the same as all this other shit. Is normalising everything to a place where we don't want it.
Mooch, open up the link I just sent.
And I think that's the majority of people don't want it. I don't think the majority of people would agree with that statement.
Oh, yeah, like the theatre company, This Egg, who are putting on the Family Sex Show, they said, the Family Sex Show people said, oh, we've had criticism and abuse from some far-right extremists.
Yeah,
it's like,
extremists,
from fucking mums.
Extremist views. Yeah.
Well, that's what they were doing on the
that's our actual nonce of the week. Bring that one up.
I'm just opening
Well,
up.
that's exactly the same tactic is used over and over again. They just call people either racist, far-right racist,
transphobic,
extremists.
You go on a
conspiracy
march,
theorists.
Yeah, you go on a
anything.
march to because you think lockdown is incorrect, and suddenly it's full of right-wing conspiracy theorists. Even though you look in the crowd, it's full of mums and their children who've never heard a fucking conspiracy theory in their life.
So this is Harvey Delaney. This was even if this is a hoax, first of all, you got to say gutted if someone's going to do a hoax of you as a pedo and they use your photo. But click on the pictures and then read what they're saying. Can you?
So I'm trying to click on this one. Here we go.
Why is this so difficult for you?
The internet is running slow because look, I've clicked on it and this is how long it takes to load up.
Well, this is.
I think they're slowing the internet down because we're talking the truth.
They're slowing us down because of the truth.
Here we go. Society will one day accept maps as part of the queer
And that's
community.
minor attracted pedophiles or something.
People.
Yeah.
People.
As
Nonsense.
part
basically.
of the queer community, we just have to keep pushing. Let the world know the truth about who we are. It takes a bit, but eventually we will get there, and MAPs will be the future. The future will no longer have to hide who they are.
And the thing is, you're saying this is a hoax.
Nah, that's got to be a hoax.
But 527 people still retweeted it.
Yeah,
but
because
like
they're saying, like,
retweeting
look
it.
at this fucking, like, we're showing it now, not because we agree.
Yeah,
with
but
it.
There's a lot of pedos about that.
some people would have been retweeting that in genuine, like that's not like.
Nah, I disagree. I don't
I
think
don't know,
anybody should
man.
tweet that.
What you just saw? You just watched a professor go on thing and saying he wants to suck a guy's dick. Anyway, what about your feud of the week, Leo?
Yes, I've sent a couple of screenshots to the group because I just remembered my feud of the week. Well, I've had a few. My cousin came to my fucking wedding.
Yeah.
Gave me a shit gift.
Which one?
Angina.
What did he give you? A toaster?
I wonder why I sat next to.
Huh?
The guy, the
What
lady.
did you get? What
I
did
don't
you
know.
get? What was the shit gift? A toaster?
A voucher for a shop.
How much was
But
it?
like, man, like, so isn't it? Like I wanted my wedding to be super nice.
This isn't the feud of the week.
Well, I just want to mention this feud as well.
You're starting next week's one
She
already.
came to my wedding, and Nico could have come instead. I didn't really want my,
Yeah, why didn't I get invited to your wedding?
because my fucking cousins like bullied their way in, and then I had to invite them, and like I
went to
didn't
his
even
wedding.
speak to them.
It's fun.
I never even speak to them, and like it would have been much
Tony's
better
a
if you two were here.
great Tony's a great wedding guest. Everyone still
Man,
talks about him.
yeah.
Do you remember the bouquet catch?
They thought you were a fucking magician.
Do you know? Oh man, I've done the best bouquet interception catch like any NBA star, and I'm only 6'2", so for me to catch that 5'9", and but I was on the balcony and I drank then, so I was proper kind of hammered, and we was watching from the back, and your missus getting ready with it, and they're all like chickens from Chicken Run, all fucking bustling, going, I'm gonna be next, I'm the next one to get married.
You know, Matumbo'd it.
Yeah, boof! And I just came running and like, and I fucking done one of the best leaps. And I tell you, I'm quite good at basketball, Nick. I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually quite good at, but not.
Again, is that just because he's black?
Of course, man.
Because it's black.
Yo, I got to black people go, I like things like that as well. I can bounce a ball, bruv. And they're like, sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, look, watch this. And I just
Did I tell this one already? Like,
and I jumped up, Nick, and I caught it with the tips of my fingers like that. And they're just all the disappointment on their faces as I run away laughing, going, Fucking, I loved it, man. That was the best bit of the wedding for me. Apart from your marriage.
So I'm down in Tunbridge Wells, which is a predominantly white area, right? And I go to the basketball court. Right? So
it's funny already.
There's enough of us there to play like a 4-on-4. And these guys never seen me play. So like how you do have two captains?
Yeah.
The first guy, they never seen me bounce the ball, nothing. I literally just, the guy's like, I got this guy.
Are you any good?
A horrible game.
Are you any good, man?
No, I can't shoot, but I can do other shit. I can bounce and get around and whatnot. Sometimes I'm a rhythm shooter. If they start dropping, then the confidence comes and I'm boom, boom, boom. But yeah, that day, man, I miss everything.
Perfect.
Gutted,
imagine
man.
what they were saying under their breath. I can't believe it. I can't believe they got a basketball court in fucking Tunbridge Wells. Must have been somewhere they used to behead people.
It's grass.
Yeah, it's grass. Of course, it's got an umpire. New balls, please, and can we change that person?
Yeah.
I'd like to rescind a feud of previous weeks. Me and Elliot Steele spoke.
Oh, Elliot was at the thing today
he's a really
when
nice
we
guy.
turned up, and then Leo was like a big pussy, didn't do shit when Elliot was there. I turned up to fuck him up, Elliot, man. Fuck it, I was on your side. Fuck him up. And Leo was like, I'm sorry.
You fucking
No.
pussy. Why don't you fucking square up to K. Kurt? You
Yeah,
fucking
fucking
fat,
will square up.
skinny
You know
fucking
why?
shit.
Because I don't want to steal my joke and beat me up. I'm not having both friends.
So Elliot was like, tell Leo, let's take this outside.
And I
And
was
Leo's like, we're already outside, to be honest. It's an open air beer garden.
To be fair, your feud wasn't with Elliot, it was with his dad.
yeah. But I guess it's a hereditary feud.
Is he very? I can't remember what
his
his politics are. Marx still, isn't it? Is it Marx still?
Yeah,
Marxism.
Is it Marxism?
Marx-Steelism.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, so like, also Mark, I got no problem with Mark.
But now that Elliot's threatened to beat him up, he's
Leo was
squashed
like-
that
the
feud.
one thing is like, because
Leo was like, I really like your dad, you know. His comedy's great.
Yeah. But now, like when Elliot was like, because it got a little bit heated for a moment, and Elliot, like most of the time I'll swoop, but with Elliot, he does MMA and stuff. So I was like,
And I turn on the camera to my phone.
did you?
Elliot still does MMA.
I have my camera waiting.
He does MMA and stuff. He does MMA. He's like 20 years younger than me. So I'm like, man, of all the comedians are mostly just fucking the fattest, shittest, like just shit at fighting. Like,
I was like, finally we're going to get some views on this speech. Something for the locals.
I'll be doing the next one in a wheelchair.
You're probably twice the size of him as well, man.
Thing is,
about
it all
Leo.
calmed down when I turned up, so I just ignited it once again.
Where was it? In a comedy club?
It's just downstairs. Just when you
downstairs,
came
right
to the end of
before
it.
Because he was doing the
you just
podcast
missed
right
it.
before us.
Those guys we were chatting to.
But anyway,
Actual feud of the week.
actual feud. Barry Glendenning, who's the Guardian football commentator or something.
Oh, this is a great
Barry
feud.
Glendenning was calling me out, just basically because I was on GB News. So
And slagging you off, Mooch, cussing your
yeah,
mum.
slagged off Vauxhall Comedy Club, said
did.
it wasn't a proper comedy
He
club.
did. He rescinded it. So
He did rescind it, but he can fucking rescind a lot. This fucking prick.
He saw that that Mooch was the Elliot Steele to his Leo and rescinded it.
So
Start
Andrew,
from the beginning.
Yeah, start from the beginning of
Oh
the
man,
feud,
it goes
yeah.
on too long.
fuck's
But yeah,
sake.
like basically, so he started slagging us off. This is just him, like what?
These are the three
this is
things-
how it started off. So some guy slagged off this new show that we're doing called Ministry of Offence
Why
on
can't we
GB News.
start from the initial?
Because there's too much
tweet
and it's
that-
boring.
Okay.
And also they've all blocked me and like I can't fucking find the things. But anyway, so this fucking nerd, Jason Cartwright, who lives in Brixton, is some sort of computer programmer.
Jesus Christ.
We don't believe in
dox people.
doxing in this program.
Brixton's a big place.
Yeah.
I saw someone shitting on the pavement in Brixton.
He lives in
Was
32
it out of a
Electric
van?
Avenue.
No, it was just on the pavement. I went up to him. I thought he was having a heart attack.
Was it in
And
a
as I got-
toolbox?
As I got closer, he was just had his trousers down. He was like going, leaning on a fence. And I was like, oh my God. And it was coming out like boiled spinach.
How long were you watching?
And his name
20
was
minutes.
Jason
I
Cartwright.
didn't have a camera, so I had to do it. Oh, you know what they do in court? To do an artist impression.
The fuck?
He was a man shitting on the pavement.
Oh, remember when we came back from that gig in Edinburgh and a woman was passed out with
Oh my god!
We were coming
oh
back
my
from
god, this was fucking mad. So me and Darius were like, it's late night at Edinburgh, like 3 a.m. or something. We're walking back to his house because I was staying in your room because you hadn't selfishly had a baby, so I could stay in your spare room. But we get to this bus stop and there's a bunch of people huddled round, and there's this lassie like just tipped over unconscious on the pavement with her sort of jeans down round her ankles.
Oh God.
And she must have been taking a shit.
Because there's a
And she's
shit
passed-
halfway
there was
out of her
fucking-
ass.
But the fucking diameter on this shit was just... So this shit had come halfway out her ass, and then obviously the pressure of pushing it just made her like black out. And this shit was like... It was like a fucking can of Ambrosia rice. It was just fucking coming out of her ass. So we were like, oh man, we got to film this.
Did you?
Well, I started filming and then people started shouting at me, what are you doing? I said, well, obviously the woman
You
with
should
the
have said
shit.
you was a doctor. I'm a doctor. Let me take care of this. Oh my God, many
I'm
views
filming
I'm
for
going to get for this
everyone's
shit.
safety.
So yeah, somebody started shouting at you for filming.
You can't film people naked.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I
can't
was
if they've got
filming this
shit
shit. There was
coming
a
out their
shit
ass.
out of her ass.
There's this shit hanging out of her ass, like a fucking like I'm not with no exaggeration.
Yeah, but
the diameter
imagine
of
that was,
fucking
you know,
can.
someone you.
Oh man,
you
it was
come on.
it was about 4 years ago, and the camera was shit. You could all you could see was
Don't
a
try and
Imagine,
generic-
yeah, imagine
Do you know
that
what I mean?
was
It's going to pixels now to justify.
like,
it.
look, it was an 8
only in
megapixel camera.
It was
That's
only
not
in
illegal.
720i. It wasn't HD.
Listen, all I did was take a fucking driving license, yeah, put it on top of the camera, and then I did the filming. It was good. It was artistic.
Yeah, imagine that was a family member of yours, man.
What
Whoa,
family
that would be
member
the
would
that would be the fucking coming to Jesus moment that she would need to see a video of
Yeah.
herself fucking passed out by the bus stop
It
with a
might be a
shit out of
medical
her ass.
condition. Maybe she's just a normal person.
No, it
Maybe
was,
she's a narcoleptic.
The medical condition was it was Edinburgh. It was 3 a.m.
Drunk.
She was drunk.
Yeah, and she went to take a shit in a bus stop. That's not particularly civic minded.
Not even in a toolbox, man.
Yeah, but still, man, you can't be filming people.
I didn't. Leo did it.
I didn't film it. Darius started filming. I
Guys.
told him, Darius, you can't film.
We need to.
All right, quickly do the feud. Anyway,
yeah.
I'll summarize the feud. Someone slagged off Leo's show just because it was shit, which
Ministry
is fine.
of Defence. It wasn't shit. It's
We
good.
don't know if it's shit. It's probably good. Anyways, he slagged. So then Leo joined in. Then this fucking Guardian journalist who writes about football, who used to do comedy, went, "Oh, I've never even heard of Leo. He's a shit comedian. Let's see where he gigged." And then you said Vauxhall Comedy is a shit club.
Because that's where I was gigging that
Because that's
night.
where you were gigging that night. It's like, well, what is a good establishment for you to
Did
gig
he
at? 'Cause
put comedian in quotation marks?
Yeah, they always do that.
if you're not a comedian until you've been called a comedian in quotation marks. Do we have to wrap up, Mooch?
No, just finish the story.
Yeah.
Okay.
finish the story.
So then the story is so then everyone said so he called Leo, said this is a shit venue, even though it's not. And what was a good venue to me? Anyone he would have chose, you would have gig there anyway. So he's talking shit. Anyway, he goes, I'm the best comedian. I challenge Leo to a 10-minute comedy off.
There's that screenshot in the chat if you want to pull it up.
And then he was going to do a comedy off, and then I'll let you finish.
Well,
comedy.
yeah, so you can see it. Mooch, so in about 13 minutes, Mooch should have pulled up this. Here we go. Yeah, if we zoom out. So Andrew Doyle had just been defending me, saying like, look, he's a successful comedian. You weren't. I don't see why this bothers you so much. So Barry Glendenning says, and I, a self-confessed failed comedian, will happily do 10 minutes at the night and venue of your choice and wipe the floor with both of you.
I like this guy.
Yeah.
I like that energy.
I like when he drinks. He fucking drinks. You know what I mean?
You should say to him, like, we'll do that and I'll do a 10-minute football review.
But then the next day he's sobered up and he's like, I don't want to be in the bill. In fact, I insist on not being in the bill. I'm not a comedian and I'm not being paid.
As if money was the thing.
Yeah. And he was all talking, I'm taking money out of a comedian's pockets. It's like, don't worry, Barry, I'll take the fucking money. Jesus. But yeah, I think he's chickened out of doing it.
He chickened out.
And the thing is, man, I want him to come down and do it, because it's like,
that would have been
Comedy
hilarious,
Unleashed.
man.
No, if he did it Comedy Unleashed, it's a supportive night, and also you'd see that we're not Nazis and racists
But what if
and all
he's
the rest
actually
of it.
funnier than you?
Then he's fucking
He
funnier
could
than
be.
me.
I looked him up. He was runner-up in the Leicester Mercury Awards, and he lost out to Jason Manford. So he probably had some chops, but
Yeah.
20 years ago, you got to be a bit more match sharp, I
He
think.
does a podcast, so he's probably... Oh, wait.
How did
You
you
don't want
feel
to step
about?
in this big turd there,
How
man.
did you feel about getting collateral damage, Mooch?
Well, no, I called him out on it, and lots of comedians came to the support.
I came
of
to the
club.
support.
I came to the support.
Yeah, and I don't really give a fuck. We're sold out on Friday, Saturday nights. The audience is what matters.
And you don't read the Guardian football analysis.
I don't.
Anyway.
Also, like it was a throwaway comment. He wasn't really tagging us. He was trying to get. He was, and he apologized for it. And as far as I'm concerned, the apology was enough. Happy days, we're all done.
But man, he went after me. Him and his mate fucking went after me. Tweet after tweet after tweet after tweet, and it's like, fuck me, man. Like, you're basing this just purely on your own prejudice. There's nothing.
Oh no, I'm not.
They hadn't even seen the fucking show, and I just think it shows the fucking
I
prejudice.
wish he
of the
didn't
left.
back down though. I would like to see that.
He needs to fucking step up and be a man.
10 minutes.
He's not a real man if he doesn't do it.
That's a good feud.
Question, Marrese. I seen your necklace and your bracelet and stuff. You into crystals and rocks?
That's
Yeah,
amber.
I've got
isn't
some
it?
great ones. This is amber.
Yeah.
Oh.
What special powers does that do?
It's good for children. You should all take notice. Actually, if it helps your children when they're teething,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
not teething,
Yeah.
but teething.
Have you done DMT?
No,
No, but I want to hear about the rocks and stuff. How deep you into the rocks and crystals?
quite a lot.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of. I went to a rock. I went to a crystal and gem exhibition recently in a South London somewhere.
Yeah.
South of London.
I'm getting into that shit now.
You know the
and
whole.
I bought something that looks like the one out of Superman. You know the.
Oh yeah,
when it all-
kryptonite.
no, the crystals that not the. Kryptonite.
Oh, when he goes to the North
yeah,
Pole.
so it's like because they
it's,
grow.
it's yeah.
And I bought a
gypsum.
big amethyst as well, a big piece of amethyst. And then we bought, I took my kids there, and then we bought a little piece each. Very nice.
You know, all crystals vibrate at a very specific frequency. That's why quartz is used for timekeeping in a digital watch.
Yeah.
And the whole physical world is made up of vibrating
Like that
strings.
one.
Yeah.
Nico, did you hear what I said?
That was a very interesting thing.
The whole physical world is made up of vibrating strings at the quantum level, and all crystals vibrate at
Yeah, but I
specific
talk about things like that in my. I talk about things like that in my podcast, Galactic Zoo. Just
All
to
right,
slip that.
Mooch is angsty. We got to wrap this up. But before we wrap this up, listen, we've been offered DMT. We're going to do a live Patreon-only DMT. Mooch alleges that we've set the Patreon up.
What is a live Patreon-only DMT?
So we're going to smoke DMT live on the podcast, but only for the Patreon.
Which
Let's see
type
if
of
any-
DMT is it? Because there's two different.
Let's see if any chief inspectors suddenly become patrons.
Yeah.
Well, it's the DMT that I don't know. It's the guy that's giving us DMT.
Is it natural DMT or is it this other one? Because there's two types. And is it from a vape pen or is it actual?
Is
He's
it
giving
red?
us DMT. I've not gone as far as to. I'll put him in touch with you.
Yeah,
Oh,
that'd
in
be
fact,
great.
can you get DMT?
Yeah.
Well, why the fuck are we going via some random fan?
Well,
Buy the DMT.
I'm not gonna get my. I've got to go via someone as well. I don't just shit it out. Although my old flatmate used to make it.
I thought we're not doxing people.
Yeah, no, he doesn't care.
Anyway,
Like,
so
it's
listen, we're going to do a DMT episode. It's happening.
great.
My black friends who listen to this podcast don't understand how these white people like Mooch and Darius openly talk about drugs. And then they're like,
we're white
I
passing.
can answer that for you. They're not white.
CID are listening right now going, take no, Jim. Take no, that one over there with a ponytail. We'll have
they're
him
like, how the
afterwards.
fuck is Mooch talking about smuggling cocaine into
Yeah,
England?
that was a story in a podcast. I mean, it's a comedy podcast.
Not real.
Nothing we say is meant to be taken seriously. It's all in jest. It's a comedy podcast.
Darius didn't take a photo of that vulnerable lady with her pants.
I didn't,
I
because
think
someone fucking threatened to
DMT
fight.
is a much better idea than doing like ayahuasca or something like that. You don't want to be doing that live because you might be vomiting and shitting everywhere.
No,
we'll have to get toolboxes ready to make sure.
All right, let's wrap this up. Marrese, thank you so much.
No, hang on.
Wait,
I gotta big up to everybody who came and watched Coyote, including Darius in Glasgow. Came down. How was the show, Darius? Tell the people.
It genuinely was fucking great, and I'm not saying that because I don't like you. It was really good. Like, I haven't seen you do I've only seen you MC properly or do 20-minute set. So it's good to see how you managed to do an entire actual show. I didn't have any feedback. It was all great. I couldn't give any criticism.
Punchy, bang, 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 joke. Yeah, and the crowd was great. So yeah, thanks to everybody who came to see Coyote in Newcastle, Edinburgh, Glasgow, and Manchester. Big up. Thank you. We're gonna do it again. And
really
also big up to Husseina.
Yes, Husseina.
Who we gotta get her a box of chocolates or something.
She gave us those cupcakes that
Yes,
time.
and also she came down to Top Secret last week and gave me some tea because you know I like tea, some ginger tea, echinacea. So big up Husseina.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Husseina.
We gotta get you
She
some
gave me
chocolates or something.
She gave me stuff for my hair.
Yeah,
Everyone said
amazing
it looks
lady.
good.
She's
Amazing
a genuinely lovely person.
Number
Who comes and
one
supports
free
comedy.
speech fan. So big love to Husseina. Thank you very much.
Big love. So thank you. Let's
Tony-
quickly plug Marrese. Thank you for being a guest. Tell us about your
Thank you for
Galactic Zoo
inviting me.
and all your stuff that's going on.
So yeah, that's all I'm doing really. I'm doing a podcast. It's only audio, no visuals. I'm not good looking enough like you three to just continuously expose my face. But so it's just on. You can find it on Spotify. It's one of those on Anchor, Spotify. So it's called Galactic Zoo. I just interviewed a guy about who's been researching the moon landings, Apollo moon landings for 30 years, and he talks about all the cameras, the film, the Hasselblad cameras, and he's like incredibly knowledgeable about it. He's talked to people at NASA. They can't really answer his questions, and he's the UK publisher of Nexus magazine, which is a magazine about all. It's got conspiracies in there. It's got alternative health, metaphysics. It's got lots of stuff in it. Very interesting. So that's Galactic Zoo. If you want to find that, or you can message me on Facebook. That's my only presence. Galactic Zoo.
And that's you as your personal profile.
That's all I'm doing. Yeah, that's what I'm
Hook
doing.
up Tony on it. Go look at his pictures from when he was doing racist shit on Channel 4. It's still
I've
up
got
there.
loads of shit on YouTube all over the place, but all under different names. But I've been pretty useless at that, to be honest.
That's Tony. Anything to plug, Leo?
Nah, just my YouTube channel.
Go on Leo's YouTube channel.
Also watch Ministry of Offence every Saturday at 8 p.m. on GB News. It's a new panel show, topical news panel show, and it's fun.
And yeah, I don't have anything to plug, so thanks for. Listen, just fucking like and subscribe, right? What
Share
difference?
and share.
And share. Why you make it so
Ask
hard
nicely.
for us? Please,
Threaten the listeners more.
please. Thank
he
you.
starts out threatening and ends up pleading.
Yeah.
Please, can you just
Like
like,
most of his
subscribe,
relationships.
and share? I'll kill you.
We didn't even talk about that gig, man. We didn't even talk about the gig at the Seaside Resort.
Oh, the worst. And then you had to stay and have a fucking cigarette. So we had to rate around in shade.
That can be for the next one.
Yeah, do it next time, we'll save you.
This is great. You've been honestly one of my favourite guests. I'd love to get you back on, but I have a meeting now. So
Thank you so much.
Go.
Bye.
Thank you. Cheers. Gang, gang.